The Senate, the White House, handing Trump almost complete control over the levers of government. So they're looking at 211 seats, and the counting continues in the... It's just an extraordinary moment for Donald Trump and the Republican Party, but also for Americans. And I'd like to think that Americans would, you know, in some respects, look, those that don't like Trump will never like Trump, but they can still love their country and their flag and hopefully the direction of travel. By the way, we've got some great footage of Jimmy Kimmel. He used to be a bit of a hero of mine, Jimmy Kimmel. I thought he was great until he had a meltdown last night on his own TV show over Donald Trump. We'll bring you that shortly. What else has been going on? I'm just bringing you the updates here, OK? Trump reiterating his deportation aims. He says no price is too high, but getting that through is going to be huge. We've got Charlie Downs with us shortly, but we might come on to that. The mood music around Donald Trump's election victory, of course, was very much centred on mass deportations. Getting that done is, if you imagine what it's like in our system with trying to get through the ECHR, this is pretty much similar territory. And Trump's, for every individual that wants to, or the country decide should not be there. So I have no doubt about Trump's determination on this one. But getting that done, saying it and wanting it and doing it are very different things. But, you know, we will see how it pans out. In other news, Russian President Vladimir Putin has congratulated Donald Trump on his victory, calling him courageous. He was impressed by his reaction after that first assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. He also talked about Mr. Trump's position on Ukraine and Russia. The Russian president said about the desire to restore relations with Russia to help end the Ukraine crisis. Mr. Putin said, in my opinion, deserves attention at least. There is the start of a new working relationship. Now, that will upset some people. It might upset Zelensky over there in Ukraine. Elsewhere, Donald Trump is appointing his team, particularly a woman called Susan Summerall-Wiles. She'll serve as the White House Chief of Staff. It's the first female Chief of Staff in the job. She's tough, she's smart, innovative, and universally admired and respected, said Mr. Trump. She also worked, I'll tell you how experienced this woman is, she worked on Ronald Reagan's election campaign. She's been around the Capitol Hill block since she was a pup. What else have we got? Elon Musk is likely to be involved somewhere. He's not going to take an official position, I don't imagine. It's worth remembering he did donate £92 million to help in the re-election of Donald Trump. JFK Jr. is likely to also be in there as well in some respect. So this is kind of where we're at the moment as Trump sits down. There's no honeymoon period, really, for the new administration to sort of sit back. It's not really in Donald Trump's kind of thinking or ethics to say, well, I've won now, so I'll nip down to Benidorm for a couple of weeks break, book me a couple of Ryanair flights and I'll be there. This is booster rocket territory for the president-elect and his team. How are they going to begin? Direction of travel is really important in those first moments, and he will be judged harshly because he is judged harshly because of who he is on those initial weeks and those initial appointments as well. But I think he's played a bit of a blinder in the Chief of Staff role. I know that's a role for him rather than the country. But again, direction of travel. Elon Musk inevitably is going to be something in there. What will happen with Putin? I think that's really quite crucial. I mean, the question, will Trump make the world a more peaceful place? I mean, I think it's worth just considering that for a moment. We'll open up the lines on all of this. Any comments you want to make about these appointments, where he is so far, this emphatic win. Both houses, all three houses, if you want to look at that, whether Senate, Congress, And the White House, of course. I mean, it's well and truly in the bag. There ain't going to be anybody looking around for damaged voting tickets on this one, or iffy machines, or mail bags, you know, somehow discarded in a bush off the side of a voting booth. None of that. This is as unequivocal and straightforward as it gets. But, of course, getting it and then implementing policy and making that successful and selling it to the American people and, to some extent, the wider world is going to be key now to Mr. Trump, President Trump, as he will be on January the 20th. We will watch with interest.